All right, we are live. Looks like everything is surely it's working. So, hello everybody. Welcome to DC Fine Art. Today we're doing our live stream, continuing working on this massive painting on our just all the holiday things all in one. So, we were doing a shelf with a bunch of different themes. We've got St. Patrick's, we've got Valentine's, we've got Easter, Christmas, Halloween, just all the different seasons that I could fit in here, including my little hamster, the two birds that are my daughters, and then my son's turtle. So I threw them all in here. So today we're going to continue working. We're going to be working on a heart that's kind of like a glass heart. And then we're going to be working on a shamrock, like just a four-leaf clover. It's got some burgundy in it. It's really kind of cute. And then two little sheep that I really did like that's got like little hearts on it. So we got a mixture of like a Valentine's, St. Patrick's theme that would be working on, even though my other St. Patrick's one is actually down below and it's a little pig and he's got like all the little shamrocks on him. I actually did a oil pastel using that same pig. So I'm going to be throwing, he's already in here, so he's going to be a part of it. I didn't continue on. I didn't have enough time. Actually, this week has been really, really busy, but I didn't have enough time to actually go through and finish the rest of the shelves. But since we're not even close to that part yet, I'm not too worried about, not having it done for our live stream. Other than that, things that are going on, let's see here. We got our Patreon. Patreon is listed. Well, it's right there. So if any of you guys are interested in Patreon, basically it's going to be full lessons that I have on either different mediums like color pencil, charcoal, soft pastel, oil pastel, and acrylic painting. I have those listed in categories. I've been building up those categories with the different mediums, and just a longer tutorial where it goes a little bit slower, but yet I'm explaining a lot more. So I ain't like cutting out a whole bunch of stuff. If I am, and it's something that's repetitive, I will speed it up and we'll kind of go through it a little quicker. But other than that, it's basically zoomed in, or at least as close, a little closer, a little slower. Just things like that maybe might be able to help you out. I try and list the colors that I use in those. It's not something you have to have. So those are all on my Patreon, and there are a few of them that I have for free on Patreon. So if you're not for sure if you're like that kind of thing, or if my lessons would be good for you, there are some free ones that you guys can actually go on there and try out, and the different categories. I don't have all of them, like all the categories have a free one yet. I am actually trying to incorporate and throw a free one into each of those, so you can kind of see with each medium if it's something that you'd be interested in. And that, so far, I think I have an oil pastel on there that might be free for you guys. One little color pencil that it was free for you guys. And then I have a charcoal that's free for you guys. But as far as like an acrylic and soft pastel, I don't think I have a free one for that one yet. Now, in the Patreon, I know I've been talking a lot about my Patreon, but I'm definitely hyped up about it. There is tiers in the Patreon, so if you're like on the first tier, then you basically get all the videos. You can watch all the videos for free, or not for free. There's certain ones for free, but if you're on the first tier, then you get to watch all of them. On tier number 2, I do believe you get a postcard that I make. I usually try and make my own postcards for you guys, and it may be a painting that I've done, and I'll end up printing those off, making the postcard, and then sending it out to you. So you get a postcard from me. I think tier number 3 is I think you get either a bookmark or a greeting card. So I mean, as it goes up, and then you get that. Like they're all one. So at the highest tier, you get the bookmark, you get the postcard, and like a greeting card or something like that. I think it goes on the highest tier, plus all the videos. So cool little things to do. And then each month I've been trying to give you guys like maybe something to think about when you're working with your artwork. Like this month here, I started out with March, anything green, gold, and spring. Actually, I think I was like, yeah, gold, green, and spring, either which way it goes. So those are things to kind of think of for this month. Next month, I'm going to think of just like a theme for next month. Maybe think of something, you know, who knows? I have to think about it. So there'll be one for like April. So I'm kind of getting into that, really trying to do more things on the Patreon for you guys. Other than that, yeah, let's turn it around and get to started painting here. Otherwise, I'll be talking the whole time. I like to talk. I really do. So let's turn this around. Let's do what work. There we go. So as you can see, we got the little champagne glass in there. If I need to do any kind of alterations to that, since we are going to have a little sparkler here, that will be done at the very end. I'm going to wait until the very end on that one. And that's just because I want to get everything set in before I actually put a sparkler that's going to shine light on all this stuff. So, anywho, we are going to work on this heart right here, and we are going to make it kind of like a glass heart. So, I'm going to go over here and get some of these colors out. That way you can kind of see what I'm getting out here. Yeah, so far this week has been a busy week because I have been getting overswamped with a bunch of my paintings, and I was wanting to kind of get those out and gone. Let's see here, we got cadmium deep red, crimson, cadmium deep red, that's deep red, medium red. Let's see here. We definitely need some darker. Let's see here. You know, I'll just use that. That'll end up making more of a purpley color, but Payne's gray. Gotta go with Payne's gray. And then I need white and black. Get some deep black in there. What is it? Ivory black, Mars black. Mars black. Okay. I think that's really all I need. No, I need a lighter red. I don't want to make it pink, but my primary red is usually my lighter red. No, this is kind of darker. Let's see here. Some bright reds. Let's see what I got here. I got too many reds. Darker red, mid-tone red, bright red, and that's more like a pink kind of color, so I can still use that. I don't know what this one is, like some sort of in-between color here. We might keep it for something. I don't know. We might put it down. Just mingling with some of my reds. Really, in all reality, when looking at this, I probably only need just a couple shades of red. Ooh. I know what red I'm missing though. And it is my super bright red. That definitely is a good one to have, and it is like my pyro red. It is super bright. I like that red. It's almost looks orange in the camera. I don't know that one, but it's actually really bright red. It's like really nice to have. I do like that one. I may not, yeah, I probably still need that primary red. So I got a whole bunch of reds there. Really, in all reality, if you just use like at least 3 different tones of red, get your medium or darker red, your mid-tone red, and then a bright red, you're pretty much, you're good on that. So I wouldn't really worry too much. I'm stuck on a cord now. Me and my cords are horrible. But I have been super kind of busy because I'm trying to get paintings out. So I am going to be actually listing my paintings for sale. And I had my website, but my website is down because I really, quite honestly, I never really liked my website. Like, it just wasn't something that just really fit what I wanted or what I imagined my website to be like. So, I mean, it really didn't get a whole lot of traction anyway. Like, it wasn't like shuttling people over to, hey, check out my website, you know? So it really just kind of sat there, and I really didn't like adding stuff to it. It just didn't feel like it was something that, I don't know, it wasn't like something that I posted all the time in. So I ended up letting that website go, and I'm just gonna probably just sell my stuff on like eBay or something. I'll probably post it to eBay for selling and just do it that way. Okay, I'm going to put some black down. I know I got way too many reds here, to be honest. There's a lot of reds in this. And I know I don't really need that many. This will actually probably be good for making some burgundy up. I'm going to give it a spritz. I know I got way too many reds. But anyways, so we're going to go ahead and start this off with a... not that big of a round brush. Here is my, I think this is a 0 out of a foamy round brush. That's an old paper towel. Let's get a new one out. And I'm just going to go ahead and start off with probably more of my darker red here, which is the Azalea Crimson hue. I'm going to give this another spritz. Make sure I got enough on there. And we're going to go in and start in with the darker red. Oops. Why is that moving? Why is it moving on me? Probably because I took my cardboard out from back behind my thing because it was like tipping just a little bit. Now I am going to need a couple layers on this, so see here, the dark's going to come in and around, kind of goes down a little bit there. If I'm needing that to be a little bit darker, I can always take a little speck of my Payne's Gray, mix it in, and that'll probably tone it down just a little bit more too. So there we got, probably want that a little bit more thicker. We got some dark red in here. But as we put our layers in here, it'll look a whole lot better. But you just look at your reference photo and just get as close as you possibly can. To the reference photo. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, hey, welcome back. The glass looks delicious. Oh my goodness. It's not even Friday. Well, it's Tuesday. I was like, it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. You know, I was like thinking about it too, and I was like, you know what? We were talking about it last week on trying to get another glass and trying to replicate by shining a light through it and seeing exactly where the light bounces off of it. And I was like, well, I don't carry any champagne in here, so I don't have champagne. I don't have any kind of beer or anything like that. I was like, but who needs that? All I need to do is get some apple juice, and I can pour some apple juice in the cup and then shine a light through it. Apple juice, it looks like apple juice. It could be apple juice. You never know. So, let's use some of this other red here to kind of get in. And we're going to make this glass heart. Gonna make it, like I said, first layer, our acrylic paint. Just gonna always going to be like a little bit translucent, but that's okay. That is okay. Yeah, I got apple juice. It's all right. We have an imagination. There's more of my regular red there. Yeah, I want to stick with that color. More of a medium red. Not so much of a dark red, but more of a medium red. Kind of goes in and around that area. So we got some of that red in there. Looks a whole lot brighter than our darker red there. You know what? I've got another type of red besides that one that actually might be a little darker. Let's try it. Yeah, that looks more like it. I don't even know why I took it out, the other one. Let's see here. And then if I put this on top of that purpley kind of mixture where I made it a little bit darker by adding some of that Payne's Gray in there, because Payne's Gray has a little mixture of blue. So if you mix it together with your red, you're going to get more of a purpley type of color, which is still kind of fine. I mean, it's not too bad. It's not a bad thing. Might mix a little bit of that with my darker red here and get some of that color in. Might need to spray it a little bit. Just gonna go on top. There we go. Often true. Apple juice would make a good stand-in. I'm sure that they use in movies and shows, not like they're drinking real alcohol. Yeah. You know, as silly as I act, heck, you can give me apple juice and I could probably make it look like I'm probably drinking the other stuff. Be like, why are you so goofy? What's in your cup? And it could be like apple juice, and it'll be like, I don't know. I act silly. Be like, well, that's the reason what's wrong with me. There we go. Say that. Be like, that's what's wrong with me. Blame it on the apple juice. Okay, that's my brighter red that I'm throwing in here. And as you can tell, it's not really showing up as good as what I'm wanting. So in that case, I wouldn't really worry too much with it. That just means that we need to go a little bit darker around it. So I'm going to take a little bit of that Payne's Gray. I'm going to mix it in with this darker red. And we're going to go and should actually wait until it dries completely before trying to add another layer to it, because that's not working. Been trying to refuse to use my hair dryer to blow out my painting because I'm so afraid I might like knock out the power or something. Yes, it's a thing. It happens here. Are you using Liquitex Basics? Yes, I am using the Liquitex Basics. Oh wait, the darker red here, and I do have a couple of these, but these Academy acrylics, I think I got them from like Hobby Lobby or something. They seem to feel just like the Liquitex Basics, to be honest. So sometimes I pick it up and use it, and I can't even tell the difference between Liquitex Basics and this. I mean, it works. No, blame it on the triple A apple juice. Yep. I would. Okay, so let's go ahead and get some of this Payne's gray. And I'm going to put some in here, just to make that darker. I will end up having to use some black in here though. Or I can actually mix in some of my black with my Payne's gray. That would work too. Yeah, I was busy this week. I was working on a hummingbird with oil pastel, and oh my goodness, like I did it on an 8x8, like a little small one, and usually it's like not too bad, you know, doing something smaller on like, or doing something like not as detailed on a smaller piece like that. Like I did that pig with the shamrock, and it was an 8x8, and I didn't do too bad with it. Like there wasn't really too much really small detail, but for some stupid reason I was like, I'm going to do a hummingbird on it with oil pastel and make the hummingbird kind of smaller. I mean, I tried to make it a little bit bigger, and oh my gosh, that thing was definitely giving me a little bit of trouble for some reason. I was like, what? The hummingbird was not working with me, but it ended up turning out really cute. So it's like, well, can't blame the hummingbird too much. Making some little lines in here, kind of like the glass shows. And kind of coming down with it. Let's put some more on this side because I definitely want this really dark. We're actually not going to take up the whole side there. Looks like there's some dark red kind of coming in. So I want to make this kind of come out like this. There. Okay, let's go back to our, let me use this primary red here. See if it doesn't come in a little pinker. No, still doesn't come in too light. Medium toned red. Got to get our darker red back in there again. So I'm going to take my darker red. I want to mix it with a little bit of some black in there. Darken it up just a little bit more. Darken that up. So I'm just adding in my layers here is all I'm doing. I will have to come back through on here and add some more. Okay. And I got that one little piece down there. I have some paintings that aren't totally what I want to be, but still look good. It's just that your idea is your idea, and you may have preferred over the other. Yep. I actually got it right here. I could show you. There's a little hummingbird. You ready for this? Like, are you ready for this? It's like, there's my little hummingbird. And for some reason, I don't know, his beak's a little blurred out. Definitely going to have to go over it again, but I don't know. Been kind of holding off on them because I've been setting them aside, and I don't know, at a distance it's like, it ain't too bad. But I just want to stare at them for a little bit before I do any like little small adjustments to them. Then I can still do it as long as I don't varnish it or anything like that. So he's been sitting there just like let's see here. I can actually put my camera here. Oh. Yeah, he's just been sitting up there. So I don't know, it's kind of dark. He's sitting in a dark place. Just staring at me. So now that I totally messed up the camera, maybe that'll work. So yeah, I've been having to look at him for a little while and just kind of get an idea. I know I need to fix like some of his wings and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. I'm like, I really want it to be, you see, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, oil pastel, that's pretty. It looks 3D-ish. I know. It's one of those things, it's like, it's an oil pastel. And you have some people that even say, and you look at other oil pastel artists that do them, and they're very loose looking, or they're very, you try not to do something as realistic but more looser and just kind of like blotchy and still look like oil pastel, but I tend to go into it more painterly and try and melt it down and try and blend out, add small details. And so I was really trying to be more looser and not try and focus on all those little bitty details and try and make a bird that still looks like a bird but yet not as detailed. I don't know how to mean like that. Like, you want it to look like an oil pastel painting, you know? So that's what I was attempting to do on him. Let's put some of this dark in here. This little tip. Put another layer of dark in here. And then the other thing that I've been doing this week, besides trying to sell my paintings and get them ready to ship out with all the matting and everything you got to get done with it, I've actually been working on an oil painting. And I've done oil paintings before, but every time I've done them, it's like, you know, I try to do the wet on wet. And from what I find with doing wet on wet, you can still do them. And I was like doing like landscapes and everything else. And I decided to try and make myself do it a different way. Like actually letting it dry and do layer by layer. The way, you know, just doing an actual painting. I don't want to say there is no right or wrong way, because you can make art look just as beautiful with wet on wet, but the type of painting that I was wanting to do with my oil paints, I really needed to focus on, instead of wet on wet, trying to do it more like doing a layer, letting it dry, going back the next day, doing a layer, letting it dry, and go from there. Now I haven't been recording it, so I'm not going to actually make a video of it, but it's going really good. It is taking a while. I actually do have it if you would like to see it. It's going to be a perfect one for like Easter. If I don't touch it where it's wet. Okay, good. I grabbed a hold of it in the right way. So I am making a bunny, and right now we're working on the layering. So right now I'm layering the first base coat I haven't got his ears or anything like that with the first coat, but I'm at least starting with putting in my first layer with the oil painting. And so I really like how he's coming along, but I definitely need to add more to his eye. I need to start doing more on the base layer for him, and then I'll be able to add in his little fur, and he'll be the most adorablest little Easter little, and I got him painted, so he's gonna come up and around on the canvas. So this here is dry because I use liquid, so that way it only takes till the next day. It's 24 hours to dry, and I'm actually doing it, letting it dry and not doing a wet on wet. But that one there is just an experiment for me to try and do oil painting and do it the way that I need to be doing it, not the other way around, because I used to do wet on wet, and trying to get the detail that I'm wanting to put into it, I really needed to let it dry. So that's what I've been working on too. It takes a lot more concentration to, as you get more into your craft, you forget to not be you and continue on your normal ways. Yes. Oh, so cute. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that bunny's going to be adorable. But yeah, that's totally it. I mean, trying to change a technique and trying to do it in a different way is really, really hard to do. And doing oil painting, it has definitely been fun. It's been actually feeling a little bit more like I can calm down, stop trying to rush through things really quick, because I know I've been trying to rush through all my paintings super quick, and I really need to not do that. Because the more time you spend on your artwork, the better it's going to look, the more realistic it's going to look. The more time it takes you, the better it will be. So if you're trying to rush through something, which I know I've got a bad habit of trying to do lately, because I've been really geared up and focused on trying to get videos out there really quick and really focus on getting quantity. But if you focus on quantity so much on trying to get video after video after video out there, your quality is going to start to go down because you're not putting in enough time that you need to be able to make some of these artworks the level of detail. And I know some artists that I've seen before, they're painters and everything, and they're really, really good painters. Oh my God, they do amazing work. And the level of detail is just unreal. It looks hyper-realism almost. I mean, it's super, super nice. And I always admired what they did, and I always loved what they did. I think it's beautiful. But I noticed that they make YouTube videos, and those YouTube videos are very rare. They end up making a video, and the video might come out once a month, or maybe 2 videos in 1 month, and not 2 videos a week, but only 2 videos a month come out. And I know why. It's because of the level of detail that they have to put in, that they put into their work, the amount of time it takes to be able to put into your work is why it takes so long to come up with videos. They got some little streaks. I really need this toned down a little bit more. It's a little bit too bright now. We're going to come in here and add, instead of a medium, we're going to come in here with more of a deep red. I'm going to take that deep red and I'm going to kind of branch out to this darker red right in here. Kind of tone that down a little bit more. That way it all fits together. There we go. Now basically with that dark red, and then when I put this, it's a more of a deep red, and I put that down on top of the lighter red, but then I put it on top of this deep red, and it actually kind of tones it together. Let's see here, hold on. Let's see here, I don't think I told you. I told you, but don't remember. In high school, I learned architectural drafting. Oh, cool. Where everything has to be perfect. In college, I took fundamentals of art, where you work with what you put down. Okay, cool. I erased so much in that college drawing class. My instructor took my eraser. No, it takes concentration to not be you. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I can't imagine. Oh, you know, that would be still fun, but yeah, I could definitely see that. I would be like erasing too. I'd be like, oops, that's not perfect. I need to get it again. I'm going to get some of this white, and I'm going to put some of this white in here where some of my brighter parts are. That's a little bit wet anyway. And then there's some white in here. It's actually more of a streak of white. There we go. And then I'm going to put a little bit of white in here. Now I'm going to end up letting that dry, and I'm going to go over it with some brighter red. Okay, and then there's like a little dot here, and then there is like this little brightness kind of coming in there. Maybe a little dot there. I think that's all my bright red. Oh my god, I loved my art class in high school. Like, it was so much fun. I really do miss those days of having art class. I used to have I remember, because I ended up switching schools. I was in one school, and then I ended up getting switched out to a different school. And the one school that I went to was, the first school I went to was more of a really country school. You know, I would say country school, high school. And then when I got switched out, I went to like a city high school. And the country high school had like the best teachers ever. Oh my God, they were so good. Like, I learned math like it was nothing. Like, they taught it so well, and made it easy. I mean, he was an amazing teacher. And then I had an art teacher, and she was like an amazing teacher again. She basically went into so many different things with charcoal, with just different types of mediums, but she really did an amazing job teaching us different techniques to make textures. And then I ended up making, like, she would tell us like ideas, like make something and make something else, like merge them together. And so I did this Eskimo guy, and I drew out him, and I had a reference photo, which she let us use magazines to look at to be able to draw. And so I made this guy, and he had like an Eskimo, or he was an Eskimo. And then coming out from the fur of his hat, I started to make like a wolf emerge like from his hat of his fur. And it actually turned out really good. I was really impressed with myself, and I've been saving some of my, or at least I did. I don't have them anymore. Yeah, I don't think I do. But I like looking back at some of my artwork that I did whenever I was like in high school. Let's see here. The person that laughs at everything, but I don't laugh this time. I was too shocked to laugh. Oh. Aw. Well, yeah, I wouldn't like my eraser being taken away. So here's this red little jewel, like kind of heart. Let's see if I can't get it down here. It's got little whites on it, but we are going to end up taking that white and we are going to make it more of a brighter white, kind of letting it dry, and then we will basically probably do one more layer just to smooth out right around the edges and toward the bottom. And I think we're pretty much done with that heart. So I don't know if the white is dry. Maybe it's dry. Yeah, I probably chatted enough. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, some really good ideas in that art teacher's class. Let's see. See, I'm needing more of like, that might work. I might put a little bit of white with it. It's gonna make it look a little bit pinkish, but that's okay. I need to make sure I put it in the right spot. On this one here needs to leave a little bit more of a pinkish kind of mark. How about these? Yeah, these are more brighter. Let's see if I can't use my, oops, some of this pyro red. That's perfect. Putting some of this pyro red in here really makes a difference. I'm actually thinking about making this here a little bit more of the pyro color. There we go. I like that better. And let's try and smooth out some of these lines here on top. Go, I like that. And let's go in here. And do the same thing. I think I like that. That looks cute. Okay, and then that white. I'm going to try and tone the edges down just a little bit, or make like little these edge lines on the white need to go down to a sliver here. There, that looks better. I like that type of shine. All right, I think that one might be good. I really do like that glass heart. Looks like we might need some shadowing in there, maybe. Let's see here. Well, I mean, wasn't bothered with him. I was bothered about losing the eraser because it was forcing me to move different, and I didn't know how to move. Just standing looking at the drawing. What to do. Oh no. Yeah, you had to work with what you had without not erasing it. I guess it really makes you think in a different way of trying to make the best out of what you have already and without trying to go back on what you did. I mean, definitely a mental game there. I mean, that is definitely a mental one. It's like, okay, you're pushing me to think, and I don't want to think. Stop it. I can see that. So now I'm going to go on, and we are going to do this 4-leaf clover. And so we're going to take out some different colors here. So we've got some magentas, purples for the center of the 4-leaf clover, and then we got some greens and some really pretty color greens. It's kind of a shame. I really did put down way too much on my reds. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, without wasting a lot of my reds, let's do the little sheep. I think everybody likes to see the little sheep. Let's do the sheep next. That's going to be a lot more funner. Because the sheep's got like these little hearts on their tummies, and they are red. They're really like a darker red, but you got it all right. Yeah, I can definitely feel the feeling. That's why. That's like, you know, you tell me about these things, I feel like I'm actually living it. It's like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm putting myself in your seat, and I can see it happening. And I'm like, okay, I know my feeling. I know what you're feeling. I'm feeling it. Okay, I'm going to take some of my black and some of my red, and we are just going to go ahead and work on these little sheep here, which are just adorable. Gotta love them. So if this is here is just a darker red, we are working much smaller on these sheep than, you know, as it's being a really small picture or a reference photo compared to how teeny tiny this is. So we're going to put our darker red all the way around the heart. So there we go. We got darker red. Now we're going to do the other one the same way. So we're going to outline our heart in red. If it goes a little bit wonky and the line ain't completely straight, that's fine. Because the dark in the center of that going around the outside is a little shadowy too, so it'll be okay. I actually think one side looks a little darker than the other side. I got a lot of reflection going on. Hold on. There we go. Whew, that helps my eyes. Yeah, it looks like there's some kind of like more shading like going on in here. The red's a little blotchy in there. Looks a little bit more blotchy in here. So we're just gonna do the same thing. We're gonna make it a little more thicker on one side. And then it has a nice deep red. So we're gonna take this nice rich red here and we're just gonna stick it in the center. Now these little hearts in the reference photo are like sewn in hearts. So they're just like, kind of like a piece of velvet or something that's in there. It's kind of sewn in. So there we go. We got our hearts in there, and we are going to let those dry. I'm going to give my paints a good spritz, and then we are going to get some colors out so we can do these sheep. Now, one's like more of like a beige type of sheep, and then we got one that's a little bit more of a whiter sheep. So I'm just going to do for our beige sheep, I'm going to use raw sienna, maybe some unbleached titanium here, And let's see here. We can still use, we need to use some browns. I don't want to go with any reddish colors, but maybe some brown. So we're going to go with, it's really sad that I ran out of this color here. Oh, got a little bit of it. So that there is my my burnt umber. And I could probably use a little bit of black. Maybe a little bit in there for shadowing. Really like the grayish tones. Not necessarily blue, but more of a, we can still do Payne's gray on that and should be fine. If I need to, I'll mix up some gray. And I think that would be it. We definitely need black, which we got. So let's go ahead and make the little sheep. Probably need some gray. To make our little sheep, little white sheep. I don't think I want to add no blue to them. Usually I like to add a little bit of a bluish tone to it, but I don't really have a whole lot of blue surrounding it. It's more like browns. So we're going to go ahead and just work with what we have here, which is gray. I have gray. I have burnt umber, what was it, raw sienna, and unbleached titanium for the sheep. Black for the little nose and eyes. And yeah, let's do it. Let's go for it. This one here is more of my darker sheep. My little beige sheep. So we're just going to get in and around his little face here. Yeah. Oops. Touched his little cheek. Fine. He actually probably needs to be a tad bit more darker. Okay, I'm just going to go in and around. We'll end up making this little shadow here. Definitely need to go around the heart. May have a little bit. I was getting close on the verge of having too much water, and my paint there was about ready to run. Close. Okay, so making that in and around the heart here. Working on very small areas. I'm trying my hardest not to touch this wood, because definitely was trying my hardest to make them nice and straight too, using that tape and taping it off. So there's my base coat for him, and then I'm going to put his little head here. Kind of the same type of color. Yep. Yeah, they will. Yep. That's exactly right. They will be kind of washed out because they will be in the sparkler, so they'll be nice and bright. Which that's, as long as I can get them down to where we got the color in there. If I need to glaze it on top with more of a, like even the unbleached titanium, if I took that, watered it down, kind of bleached it out, jeez, made like a wash that we could probably wash on top of it and kind of tone or brighten that up just a little bit and tone those colors and making them a little bit brighter. So we can end up doing that. But for right now, I'm going to put them in just kind of the colors that they should be before having to add a whole lot to it. Yeah, my poor little sheep are definitely going to be in right in the spotlight. They're going to think they're little superstars. Little superstars. They're going to be little superstars. Okay, so I'm mixing a whole lot of my raw sienna and more of my unbleached titanium for his little face. Kind of going in and around his little nose and little eyes here. Okay, I'm gonna go on down. So I got this little face, and now I need to go up here and make his little ears so we can see them. That'll be the first coat on the ears. We'll still have to go through and make another coat. Oh, there's, that's my daughter. I was like, what, is that me? I didn't answer. I keep on thinking, I was like, oh, she's got the other one that she can actually talk and see me so she can watch me. She's, you're doing good, Mom. Thank you, baby. Aw, she's actually, her birthday is this week. So on Friday, she turns 12. So yeah, we're excited. She's super excited for her birthday. Yeah, it is. Okay, stop eavesdropping there, Ben. Get on to her, be like, stop eavesdropping. Not just joking. You're fine. I think she's also eating ice cream in the other room because I hear a bowl and a spoon, and I'm thinking it's ice cream. If it's not ice cream, it might be cereal, but I'm really thinking it's ice cream. Okay, I got some gray here, so we are going to go in and just kind of fill in some of this other little sheep in gray. We're just going to do all gray. Any white highlight or anything like that we can put in. And see the sparkler, I was thinking the sparkler is going to be more of an amber coated, like an amber kind of color sparkler, like not really necessarily a white sparkler. Aww. And so I'm thinking it's really going to tone even the white sheep down to where it's more of a, using that unbleached would probably go good with it too. Might have to add a little bit of a yellowish tone to it, but not much. So I'm just painting this all just like a gray coat I'll come back in with some lights, some highlights, and some shadows. It's actually a mixture of gray and white that I mixed up, so it's not as dark of a gray. Looks like they got little hats on. That is so cute. Having daughters is awesome. Yes, they are. It's like little mini me's. It's like a little mini me. Oh my God. I seriously heard that slurp. That must be, it has to be cereal, because I heard a slurp from all the way over here. It was like, I was like, oh my gosh. That was the loudest slurp ever. Okay, so we're putting in the same color tone of face as the other sheep. We're doing the same kind of color for this little sheep. There we go. Got my first layer in on these little sheeps. So, just so this makes me feel better, I am going to come in here and we are going to actually put in his little eyes, his little nose, little mouth, because otherwise I feel like we are working with an unknown here. So there's little eyes, using a much smaller brush. Let's do this one, so that way their little eyes and face can all be created all at once. Okay. Oops. Okay. And we're going to make his little happy face. May need to add a little bit of water to my black, because it's not really, a little bit of water in it. That way my brush runs a little bit smoother. Let's do his little nose. Oh, that one's got a little bit too much water in it. It's kind of funny. Let's just add a little bit of water. Turn around, puddle. I want to fix his little mouth. It's a little bit too much water in it, and it actually came out just a little bit too thick, so I'm going to go over that. He has a little bit of a shadow there anyway. I come in with another coat. Ooh. Getting in and around some of these little areas. There we go. I'm going to take a little bit of my white And it's going to have a little bit of the raw sienna in there, but that's perfectly fine. I'm going to come through and add a little bit of highlight. Maybe even in some here. Maybe in and around this other side of his face. Actually doesn't look too bright. Let's add a little bit more white to it. Okay. Take more of my raw sienna, but I'm going to make it a little bit brighter. I'm going to add some white to it. Okay. Add a little bit of highlight. It's like a little stuffed little sheep here. So I'm adding that highlight in so that way whenever we glaze over it, it still shines through as it being a highlight. Do you buy the glaze to add to your paint, or do you thin it out with water on your glazing? Definitely water. Absolutely 100% go with water. I have tons of glazes that I bought from Liquitex Basics, and they have, or Liquitex, they got the glaze that you can add to your acrylic paints to make them like a glaze. And by far, I tried using those a lot, and I would go through them because I would use quite a bit of it, and I could never get the glaze like the way I want it. It was just too thick and it just made it more like syrup using with your paints. And instead of getting a nice smooth kind of wash to it, it ended up being like using syrup. So, and it would even dry out quicker too. So that was another bad thing. It would dry out so quick that, I mean, I didn't even have a chance to be able to use a brush and be able to go over it in like a blender brush to blend it out. It was already tacky and already sticking, like almost, it was kind of like a nightmare for me. So I started using just water to dilute it, and 10 times better, hands down, worked perfect. So if you're going to glaze anything with our acrylic paints, especially if you're using the Liquitex Basics, I would definitely use water over those glazes. Plus that you're paying money, you know, because I know those things were, you know, I mean, they started racking up whenever I started buying them over and over again, thinking that I was doing something wrong. And I could never achieve, you know, a glaze like I see some other people do, other artists. And I was like, what is going on? I'm using this. Come to find out they were using just water. I tried it with just water, and bam, that was the key. So yeah, save yourself some money. Ew, not syrup. This is why I asked. Yeah. Hold on. Actually, it's a good idea. Let me get you out some of my glazes. I'll show you. I keep them still, but let's go in my handy dandy closet here. Let's see here. We got glazing medium. Glazing medium. And slowly, look at it. Well, what is that? Blending medium. Okay, so I can tell you, I have tried everything. My handy dandy closet, just left it open. It'll be all right. It's where I keep all my supplies. Okay, so I tried slow drying blending medium because I tried blending and it didn't really work, and I thought it's drying out. It's like syrup. Okay, I need something that maybe might actually give me time to blend it with a blender brush. So slow drying. slow drying blending medium. Does not work. Horrible. Well, and then I used to be like, let me use the palette wetting spray. Let's get that one. Maybe that might help me. So I started squirting it instead of with water. I figured if I squirt it with this stuff, that something magic would happen and it would not dry out very quick and give me more time to be able to work with it, kind of like oil painting. No, this didn't work. Second of all, this stuff, when you spray it, it ends up clogging up on the inside of your thingy, and then you can't even spray it. I don't even know if I, oops. Yeah, this is totally, I think I broke it. That was not what I planned, but yeah. Okay, broken. Huh. I honestly couldn't get the cap off, but now I just broke it. My daughter's laughing at me. She started laughing. Like, good job, Mom. Way to go. Ew, it's all over me. Okay, and then here's the glazing medium. Now this is not slow drying, but it's glazing medium. Hold on. Let's see if I can't put it on my finger. Okay. Okay, so here it is. And it's like, it's not really like water. It's more like snot. But yeah, gross. And it's on my hand. Yep. Hold on. So it's not really like water, and now it's sticky. So it's like, no. Well, all these bottles were what I had been looking at. Yes, I swear to you. And I ended up, you see, I was working, you know, whenever I was working and doing my artwork, I had a pretty decent job. I worked over the road, so I was a driver. And that way I can make really good money to where I could start stocking up on art supplies. So I was just like, that's something that I've always wanted to do. And just like, so not only was I on the road, I had more time to be able to focus, travel, do my artwork. And I saved up all my money and I started just like getting everything that I could possibly get to try and stock up to have. And I would start experimenting while I was doing this. So I had plenty of time. Believe me, sometimes I sat for days in places and I would just work on artwork, or, you know, going into like Michael's or Hobby Lobby and buying all their stuff and then trying them all out and seeing if I could just get an experience from all of it. And I ended up learning so much during those times. And then I started branching out to, okay, I need to start trying out some other products. And then I started ordering online, really like Dick Blicks. And so, or Blicks, I guess you guys call them. But I really started trying out a lot of their stuff. And I've seen what works and what doesn't work. And yeah, it can hit your pocketbook pretty quick too. And especially if it doesn't work and you paid, like I said, you know, I got more bottles. I think I even got another bottle of this in there. And to be honest with you, it was just like, you really don't need it. You really don't. You don't. It's keep your money and go with water. It's cheaper. Blicks is awesome. Yes. I absolutely love Blicks, and their customer service is hands down the best customer service. Absolutely love them. The only thing I never, and I kind of wish that I could do, is whenever I was working over the road at the time, that I would have actually put my money and saved up and stocked up on, was probably like matting, picture frames, you know, stuff like that. I really should have put more thought into, so that way I didn't have to, you know, try and do it now. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to start getting some more of that stuff, and that can get pricey too. So it's like, definitely want him to have a little bit of texture in here. he's going to have a little bit of a shadow. So I'm going to take some of my burnt umber here, and we're going to come underneath of his tummy here, and we're going to make some shadows, textures here. I'm going to make a little bit of a more of a shadow texture even right along this side so he's not as bright. There we go. I like that. And then right through here, I'm going to come in with some of my black. I don't want a whole lot of it though. Maybe a little bit down in the bottom in here. Maybe a little bit too dark. It's fine. I'll just take some of my burnt umber, and while that black is still really wet, I'm going to come in and add some burnt umber to it, and that way it just makes it more of a darker brown than a black. And same thing with this. Kind of come through, just add some of that. Okay, maybe right around his neck in here, make that a little bit of a shadow. We're going to come in here and maybe add a little bit of a line for his ear. Maybe some underneath his little hair, a little fluff here. Add a little bit of a dark tone. Not a whole lot because we're going to come in with light on that. So we're getting some texture or some shadows, contrast here. May have made that a little bit too dark. Let's try and do this. Let's try and spread that out just a little bit. Come back in. Let's add a little bit of that sienna to it. Kind of taper off that shadow. Don't really want it even looking neither. I want him to look more textured, more not so flat. Definitely don't want them looking flat. There, that looks better. I don't want to get rid of all this highlight. The only thing I bought is the Golden Gloss Glaze. Okay, Gloss Glaze liquid, and had the same problem of the paint not being thin enough. Yep, consistency between water and syrup. LOL. Yeah, it's like stark highlight to start dark. Yeah, and that's exactly it. That's exactly what problems I had. And then I had that spray bottle, and of course it clogged up, and then I had even more issues because I was trying to wet it with that stuff. And yeah, you don't need all that. It's like, no. Here's some sienna right in there. And just like my paints now, it's like, you know, as long as you get one of these, I mean, now this is a good investment. So if you don't have a fine mist sprayer, that's one thing that is amazing. So I just spritz it and it stays really, stays wet. And then if you wanted to save your paints and make them last longer, let's see here, how long has it been? It's been since last week. Yeah, it's probably been 1 week from now. Okay. I don't know. Unless I have it cracked open or my daughter's been in here. I might be showing you something, be like, oops, this lid wasn't down. I got one of these. I don't know if you got one of these. This is Masterson's, and it's a palette where you can put your palette in there. and it's supposed to stay wet for a really long time or not dry out. And these are our acrylic paints that I had in here since last week. Now I did make sure it was sprayed, and we'll just take one of these brushes, and you're gonna see a pile of mess. So I mean, look at this. That's our acrylic paint. It's still wet, all of it, except for like the really thin stuff. But if you have any paints in there that you want to save, then that has been there a whole week. So definitely keeps your paints nice and wet. I have the bottle and the palette saver. Love them both. Yes. So definitely those are two really, really good things to have. And if you got that fine mist sprayer, then you should be good. I mean, just make sure you add enough water to your paints and you'll be able to make the glaze that you want. And it's kind of the same way, like if you were making a glaze for, you know, oil paint. I mean, I still have to, I don't know, work with that. But you just add in more liquid to it, or more, usually more liquid. And people do use the Gamsol or the, you know, odorless mineral spirits to be able to thin down too. But yeah, you just use more of that stuff to make it more runnier. Or like a linseed oil makes it really thin. Best for oil paints though. And I'm still happily going through it to see how it's going to turn out. I don't know. This is kind of like, and like I said, I haven't recorded it because it's going to be kind of an experiment for me to try and get oil painting down. So definitely fun. Okay, so let's go in here and we are going to make up my gray, more of the white, make it kind of a lighter gray. And then when I go in here and add another coat, before actually coming through with some highlights and some shadows. Okay, and then I'm going to take some of my, just my regular gray here, neutral gray that I got. And I'm going to come in here and try and make just a little bit of a shadow. We're going to start doing that. Let's make the little shadow. Just come on down. Make some texture in him. Still not completely dry, a little thick there. That's okay, because I really want to add some texture. It is like a little bit of a wool. Let's add a little bit of white. A little bit of white, kind of squiggling it in there, making some textures up. Oops, you got some wool sticking out. There. He's been cleaned up now. He's good. Let's try and even that out a little bit. There we go. Our hearts are not done. Let's see here. Okay, I was just making sure I got everybody. I'm caught up. And let's go ahead and move on. Let's do the heart some more because we need to move on to layering it. putting in some more of my dark shade in here, in and around. Okay. Coming through on here, adding some more dark. And then adding some bright red, or at least a mid-tone red in the center. Yeah, we can put some in there. Don't really matter. Okay. There's his little hearts. The little sheep are looking cute. I like my little sheep. Like, happy with my little sheep. They're adorable. Kind of gave him a little dot on his nose. I don't really care for that much. Yeah, alright. There we go. I'm almost blind. Right, so now we got our little sheep in there. We got our hearts. Once this heart here dries on either side, we gotta add our little stitches in there, so that way they have like this little bit of stitch work going on. And then I do believe I'm gonna have to add a little bit of brown as a shadow, just to kind of go around one of these ears. Oops. I say a little bit, add too much. Don't worry, little fella, I will fix your ear. My daughter laughed again. I guess she thought that was funny. Can hear her. She liked that I called him a little feller. It's alright, little feller. I'll get him. Aw. There we go. Got a little shadowed ear. When it dries, I can put a little highlight on the end of it and it should be fine. So I guess let me go ahead and take this down. Maybe you guys can see a little closer look at my little sheep. I mean, there is some little layering that you can do, but other than that, they're kind of adorable sitting up there. Definitely going to be blinded by some lights, but they're so adorable. They're like two little sheep. And they're happy. They're in love. They got two little hearts. Okay, so let's go ahead and I don't know, let's see here. We got 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes. Think I can push out this shamrock in there before having to go back in, add his little stripes. I think we can. I think we can do it. Let's just grab some stuff here. Let's grab some purples, deep violet. I like deep violet. Really like to have a prism of purple, maybe. Some dark. Really like to have some. I don't want no prism of purple. Yeah. Let's do dioxide purple. And then I should have hooker's green. Yes. And light green permanent. Some brighter greens. Let's toss in some yellows in case I need to make any adjustments to my greens. So I'll use the medium on the green. And I really like to have a magenta. Where's my magentas? Quadricone magenta. Can't even say it. Sounds great to me. Let's do it. Even if you run out of time, you'll be ahead. Yeah, that is true. Oh, we can do it. I can do this. Hold on. Knuckle crack. Let's do this. All right. I feel like I'm doing a painting challenge. Let's see if I can get a whole entire shamrock done in like 2.5 seconds. No, not gonna work. Let's not do that. Let's do the hooker green. Look at that. I put my spray bottle always in the camera's way. What's wrong with me? Green, green, and yellow. Magenta, quadricone magenta. Do it. Longest thing I've got right now is putting down all these colors. Okay. Regular purple, dark purple, we're good. Magenta. 3 different purples. Magenta, I'll just say it's kind of like a purpley color. So 3 and 3. Let's get her done. Just missed it. Alright. Let's start off by doing my greens. We're going to do some light greens here. This is going to be nice and bright. So we're just using my light green. Take some of this hooker's green. Almost looks the same. So I need to go a little bit darker. I wish I had sap green. Where's my sap green? I really like my sap green. The only sap green I really do have is out of the Academy Acrylics paints, a sap green. I really like it because it's just like more of a neutral color. I know I could just add red to my greens and just kind of tone them down, take away the brightness and sharpness out of them, but hey, I'm trying to do this real quick and I'm getting lazy. Okay, so we got a little bit more of a darker color in here, it's fine. And then we're going to come in here with more of the sap green because it is tucked underneath there and it has a shadow. Okay, let's go ahead and grab some of the hooker's green, come through. We'll definitely have to add layers to this. Here's some of my light green. Put it on this end. Smooth those edges out. Okay, let's do it again. Let's go with more of my hooker's green up here. Let's go with the sap green in here. A lot of times leaves are definitely different tones, and this is like a lighter green. And I like adding in all my 3 colors in there. So let's go ahead and take some more of my sap green. Kind of putting that in there a little thick. after my hookery screen. And then the light green. And then the rest of it is kind of like a purple color. Magenta is actually down the stripe in the center. So I'm going to go ahead and switch it over. Make sure I get a wet brush. Make sure these are sprayed. Okay, got my tiny brush here, and we are going to go through and we are going to make some lines, because this is like, we got a line coming through. Line going through. And yeah, I got to go around it with more of a darker purple, and it may end up covering it up, but at least I know kind of where it's at. Then I can easily make some adjustments. Here's some little things in here. Probably end up covering those up. Probably no reason I did that. It's alright. It was fun. Alright, let's go in here and we are going to take some of my, what is it, purple? It's like a lighter purple. Deep violet. We're just going to come in here. Probably really needs to be darker. It's one way to find out. Direct sign purple. Ooh, now that looks more like it. Okay. It's going to take a couple of coats on this one here to get it more of a darker color purple, because it's definitely going to have to be darker. And it will darken up once you layer it. Let's cover that up. Really kind of went out of line with that. Let's thin that down, that line down just a little bit. And see, we're going to have a little bit of a meat there. So what I'm going to do is take some of my Payne's Gray. I always use Payne's Gray for just about everything. Wanting to darken something up, I'm always mixing it with Payne's Gray. Just darken that up. There. Like that. Now come in with my dioxide purple. It'll probably have to be darkened up a little bit more on that side. Let's take some of my light green. I need to go over this green again, and it should be dry by now, maybe. Going with more of the lighter green right now. is my favorite train. My daughter laughs at that. She knows. I think you guys know too, just how much I love that train. That train is like my favorite train in the whole entire world. Like, I would not live without that train. I mean, at all. I couldn't go to sleep at night without that train. She's laughing at me. How did they come up with hooker green? We shall not know. I don't, nor shall we want to really know. So, therefore, we shall not ask no questions. We do not want to hear the answer for that for. Did that make sense? I'd be like, I think I know, maybe. Wasn't a very good artist. Not just joking. I don't think an artist did it. I don't know why. I don't know how. I really don't know. That's one of those questions, you know, that you want to know, but then you don't want to ask. Should I ask that with like one of your, I don't know. See, and back whenever I was in high school, facts, I do not want to know. But if we had that paint color, because whenever I was in high school, I don't remember there ever being a hooker green. I really don't remember hooker green being in my school where everybody would like be like, you know good and well the kids would be like asking that. I mean, I don't care, you know, what school, they would probably be like, so teacher, where did it come from? But no, I don't think I've ever seen hooker's green until I started painting with Liquitex Basics. It was like, wow. Ignorance is bliss, and I'll welcome it. There you go. I love that. I love that. Yes. It's one of those things that you kind of wish that you were in high school and you started seeing the names, so that way that other person, you know, that person in class would be like, hey, teacher, what's that mean? While all the other kids in class would get in trouble because they'll be laughing and something else would happen. Be like, oh, well, there goes Jimmy. He went to the principal's office. You know good and well in high school, if you get the one person to be able to ask that question, you'd be like, come on, Jimmy, take it for the whole team. Ask the question. Alright. I'm just mixing in some of these colors. I'm actually adding a little bit of yellow, touch of yellow to my light green, just to kind of break things up. This layering process is kind of nice because as you layer, you're definitely, and you kind of mix up your colors, you tend to get more of a realistic look because of how many different colors you got mixed up with your greens, as long as you kind of keep that tone and consistency down throughout the painting. Adds a lot of character to it too. I'm going to take some hooker's green in here. Just kind of tone this down a little bit. Some of these areas just look a little bit too bright, so I'm going to add some in here. I'm actually going to be spreading it around up over the top of some of this darker green that I got in here, the sap green, so that way it's all kind of toning, blending together. Nicely. Yep, let's get some more of that. Just kind of tone that down with it. Okay, So that's coming along pretty nice. Poor Jimmy. I know, right? It's alright. You know, as it is in high school or any other school, at least it was in my school. You'd always have that one kid that would always take it for the team. Like, I'll find out, and then they get in trouble, and we all just sit there like, now we know. And you'd go off giggling. There he goes to the principal's office. Back in the day, though, it was always like, I don't know, they don't do it now, you know, times have changed, but back in the day, whenever it was in my time, going to the principal's office was usually never really the greatest place to go, because you know what, you're gonna get swats. And so poor Jimmy, he'd get his swats, but it's like what not to do. Whatever it is, don't do what Jimmy did. My daughter's laughing over that too. She makes me giggle every time she laughs. I'm like, okay, just whatever you do, don't do what Jimmy did. He's taking one for the team. We all figuring it out. And boy, oh boy, when he got those swats, he was still, you know, proud of himself. Like it was almost like a badge of honor. You get your swats. He didn't come out like super sad, but he came out looking like, you know, he may have cried. Who knows? He may have cried whenever he got his swats, but whenever he came back to the class, you can tell. He'd be walking around all proud, like, yep, look at me. I took one for the team. Like, I'm strong. I withstood the warrior, the Goliath. I withstood the principal, the Goliath. And I made it out. I'm cool. I'll layer in with another. A little bit more of that magenta in the center. Take a little bit of that black. I really want to kind of part these two just a little bit. There, that looks better. And my school class clown got spanked in the hallway by his mom. All you heard was, "No, Mama, I'm sorry." Everyone was acting right when she showed up. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, we had this one principal, and my goodness, he was so tall, and he was like probably like 6'3", and he'd wear his glasses like down here on his nose, and when he looked down at you, he was just like, and he'd look up like his eyes were up here, but his nose was down, and it's like, oh boy. And so I never wanted to get swats or anything, but I never really got in trouble like in school to where I had to get swats. Thank goodness, because I think my brother has. Like, my brother would get in trouble because he used to talk about it. I mean, I think he got swats. Yeah, if not, he deserved them. I don't know. Rachel's laughing. Yep, just go ahead, throw my brother under the bus. It's fine. He needed some swats. So I'm putting back in some highlight here. Oops, kind of went out of line there. Be fine. I'll come back in with my wet brush and my wet clean brush. And we'll just kind of clean up that edge just a little bit there. All right, what time is it? Ooh, 10 minutes till. Good deal. So let me go back through. Might be a little bit of an edge there, but I need to address. Do it with the dark green. That'll be fine. Okay. I think I'm good with that. There is another dog outside. Oh my God. Okay, so let's go ahead and put in my white the dog is just like going down the road, just barking. Stitch marks. Because these were supposed to have little stitch marks. There. Okay, and then I'll show this a little bit closer. If I need to make any adjustments, I can. But I got the majority of it down for so far. Let's see here. I got spanked once by my teacher. Oh no. But not today. You can't trust these people now like your parents did then. When I got older, I found out the parents gave me school permission to spank. Wow. Let's see here. I can hear it. It says, "Hi neighbor." Yeah, you can hear the dog. Yeah. And then I guess we had trouble because in our, town, they usually talk on the neighborhood town thing. And they said if there was any reports of any dogs that are just like running around barking or whatever it is, to call them and they'll come get the dog. And they were like putting announcements out because you don't want a dog chasing you down the street, or a cat. And I'm like, a cat? This is like a cat's gonna be chasing you down the street. That's like, really? All right, so here I'm gonna go ahead and show these just a little bit closer up. So still a little bit wet, but not too bad. Kind of the picture is a little bit fuzzy. Got a weird little glow to it. Oh, there we go. Maybe I'll hold it like that. Kind of comes through a little clearer. So we got our shamrock and our little heart. So it's definitely kind of coming together. If you were to like block that out, I'm gonna use white. It's a great idea. I always like doing this because I can kind of get an idea of what my painting's gonna look like without all the distraction of everything that's not really that finished, if you were to look at it. So yeah, if you look at it and you got all these little things just kind of coming in here. So just think, once this thing is completely filled with all the different little items, I mean, it's definitely going to be pretty cool. Painting is looking good. No, awesome. Yep, I like it so far. Sparkler is going to be last, but everything else looks like next week. Guess what we get to work on next week? I'm super excited. We get to work on my little hamster here. Her name is Stella, and she's like a brown little hamster, kind of brown. She's got a little bit of gray. She's getting older, so she's getting little gray hairs. It's kind of foofy, and she's really kind of fluffy on the bottom, so she's got some longer hairs or some longer fur. And yeah, she's going to be eating something, just peeking around at the birds. So we are definitely going to be doing the little hamster next week, and I'm excited. Aw. So yeah, this was definitely a good live stream. I'm really happy that we got done with the sheep, or at least what I could get done on the sheep, and the little glass heart, and we got our nice little cute shamrock there. If I need to, like I said, we can always add a little bit of highlight to it. I'll just put some white in there with some of our lighter green, and we can add some highlight to it from the sparkler if needed. But yeah, definitely Stella's next week. And yeah, I think that pretty much it. Thank you so much for coming. I had a lot of fun talking to you. Oh my God, it's a blast. I seriously love it. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and I guess we'll wrap it up. And then next week, it'll be Stella. And yeah, it might be, hopefully we can get past Stella and actually work on the rabbit. But it might be an all thing with Stella working on our little hamster. So I'm going to go ahead and I guess wrap it up for the night. And I want to thank you again for joining. So much fun. And I hope to see you guys next week, or at least see you next week. I can't even find my stuff. Am I here? I think I'm here. Okay. All right. See you guys. Bye.